Hello, mathematicians. I hope you guys are doing fine. So yeah, last time we ended up on 1.1.3. So yeah, let's proceed with the other questions. So now we'll be doing 1.1.4. So the statement is still solve for x. Okay. So yeah, the question says the square root of x plus 18 equals to x minus 2. So I'll try to skip some of the steps so that it can be short. So but if you don't understand some of the things that I'll be doing or some techniques that I'll be applying here, you can just ask the question on the comment below, and please guys don't forget to subscribe. So yeah, okay, the first thing that you're gonna have to do, we'll have to square both sides of the equation in order to remove the root on the left hand side. So we are squaring both sides of the equation because we want to remove the root on the left hand side. And the reason that why we use a square to remove a root is because we know that something like a root a is the same as a to the power 1 over 2. So this implies that if we apply if you apply the square root of a root, therefore we're going to have a to the power 1 over 2 to the power 2, then 2 cancel 2, will be left with a to the power 1, therefore equals to a. That's the reason why we use a square to remove a root. Therefore we'll be left with x plus 18 equals to, like I said, I'm just going to try to make this as short as possible. So I don't want to write a lot of steps here. So if you don't want to understand again, you can just ask the question on the comments below. I'll be monitoring the comments. So yeah, I'll try to reply as fast as possible. Then we'll have x squared minus 4x squared minus 4x plus 4. Okay, then you can take this, you can take this one to the right hand side, then we'll be left with 0 equals to x squared minus 5x minus 14. Then you can factorize this one. Seems like this mark is no longer writing properly. Okay, then you can factorize the equation on the right hand side, or you can just say the expression on the right hand side. Then the factors here will be equal x minus 3 equals to x, oh sorry not 3, x minus 7 into x plus 2. Yeah, so if you want to know how I found the vectors, so as you can see, this is a trinomial. Then the reason why I say it's a trinomial is because it consists of 3 terms. So in order to factorize it a trinomial, you first start by looking at the, but okay, the first thing that I'm sure most of you know is that mostly when you have, not always, mostly when you have a squared, it means you're going to have two open and closed brackets. Okay, and then you start by writing those two closed and open brackets. Then you put the value with the squared, then you put x here. X is the one with it squared, then you put x here. So, and in order to factorize in order to find the terms of the other, the factors of the other terms, what you're going to do, you're going to look at the last term. Then you're going to look for the factors of the last term, which when you add them or subtract them, they will give you the middle term. So we're going to look for, you can just now forget about the negative sign. We're going to look for the factors of 14, which when we add them or minus them, they're going to give us a negative, sorry, they're going to give us 5. I said we forgot, for now we have to just forget about the negative sign. So we'll look for the factors of 14, which when we add them or minus them, they will give us 5. So I'm sure most of you all know the factors of 14. So those factors will be 7 and 2, because we know that 7 minus 2 is 5, right? And 7 times 2 is 14, right? Then now we're gonna put those factors in the brackets. You can either put 7 here or put it here, but so I decided to put it on the first bracket. Okay, then you just put the 7 only and forget about the signs. Then now you come to the signs. So since you can see the middle term is negative and the last term is also negative, so the negative sign on the last term, it tells us that in our brackets we're going to have different signs. Then it means you're going to have a negative and positive, but you don't put them. Then then we go to the middle term. If you go to the middle term, you can see that the middle term is negative. So when the middle term is negative, it tells you that the bigger number or the bigger factor of the last term is going to take the sign, is going to take the negative sign, since the middle term is negative. So actually the bigger number, so I can say, like, when you have a different signs, or when your last term is negative, or your when your last term is negative and also your middle term is negative, it means you're going to have the opposite signs inside the brackets. Then you go to the middle term. Then when the middle term is negative, it tells you that the bigger factor will take the negative sign. Then you put the negative sign here on 7. And then you put the negative sign, you put the positive sign on 2. Then you'll get your factors. Then you can just say x is equals to 7, or x is equals to negative 2. But since you can see the equation that we were solving, it consists of a root. When you're dealing with a root, I can say, when you're dealing with a root or roots, there are some of the values that will not satisfy that root. So we have to test between 7 and negative 2, which one is it that satisfies that root. Okay, then if they both satisfy them, then they are both correct. So then you can just start by saying check. You can write check x equals to 7. Okay, then you can just say you can deal with the left hand side, because the right hand side is easy, you can do it in your head. Then the left hand side equals to the square root of 7 plus 18. 7 plus 18 is 25. Then the square root of 25 is 5. Okay, then x, then if you can take this 7 and put it here, you'll say 7 minus 2, it will be 5. Then you can just say equals to the right hand side. Then it means 7 is valid. Then now we can test we can test for x is equals to negative 2 and check x equals to negative 2. So like I said, the right hand side is easy to deal with, so you can just you check using the the right hand side is easy to use. Then we can just check using the left hand side. Therefore, you're going to have equals to negative 2 plus 18, and negative 2 plus 18 is equals to 16, and the square root of 16 is equals to 4. And if you put negative 2 and minus 2, you're going to get a negative 4. Then this one is not equals to the right hand side. Therefore, you'll conclude and say 7 is the only x value that satisfies the equation, that satisfies the equation. I don't know why I wrote this sentence. It was actually not important. So let me show you what you can do in order to avoid to write this whole sentence. Because actually in mathematics they don't care about they don't really care about your, I can say what, about how good you are in English or something like that. So they wanted them, like, actually they're here, we care about notations and numbers. Therefore you can just say x, you can just do something like this: x is equals to, sorry, I'm doing that. X is equals to 7, but x is not equals to negative 2. Then you can do something like this to avoid writing that long statement. Okay, so now let's do 1.2. Okay, so 1.2 is a simultaneous equation. So I know most of you are struggling with simultaneous equations, but don't worry. I'll help you guys. I hope after this example you understand. But this one, the one on the question paper, it's kind of complex. Yeah, but I just hope you guys will understand it as I'm going through it. So yeah, let's start with it. So let's not waste time. Okay, for this one, I'm not going to write it a statement, so I'm just gonna say it, but I'm sure you guys have those question papers with you there. It says solve simultaneously for x and y. The first thing what you must understand is what the statement is saying. Like, what do they mean when they're saying solve simultaneously for x and y? So they just mean solve for x and y at the same time. So yeah, then we have two equations, which is x plus y equals to 3, and we have 2x squared plus 4x plus, is it okay, sorry, minus y equals to 15. So I'm just gonna start by organizing the equations right away. So yeah, we have x plus y, which is equals to 3. Then we can name this our equation 1. So I don't want to like copy them then organize them first, so I'll just arrange them now right away so that we don't waste time on this equation. Okay, then we have 2x squared plus 4xy. So remain writing is not that dope or beautiful, it's ugly. So yeah, okay, then we have 2x squared plus 4xy minus y equals to 15. Then this one you can name it our equation 2. Okay, then if you can inspect these two equations, or just look at these two equations, you obviously see that the first equation is easy to deal with. Then you can use the first equation to derive the third equation. Okay, so actually in simultaneous equations you can derive an infinite number of equations. So like, as long as what you're doing is correct. So yeah, then we're going to say x equals to, so actually I love making x the subject of the formula always. So yeah, x is equals to 3 minus y is equation 3. But that doesn't mean you must also make x the subject of the formula. You can also make y the subject of the formula and have y is equals to 3 minus y. It's just I love making x the subject of the formula. So I don't know. Okay. Then since you can see that we have x, which is equals to 3 minus y, and we derived it from equation 1, it means we can't take this thing and substitute it here. We obviously gonna have to substitute this equation 3 into equation 2. Okay, then just write sub. Like I said, we don't care about how good you are in English, in mathematics. So you just write sub. Don't need to write substitute. No, just write sub equation 3 into equation 2. Okay, it's not like you're writing an essay or something. No, here we just want your numbers and notations. Okay, then you say you have something like, okay, let me start it here because it's gonna be too long. Say 2 into, then wherever there is x on equation 2, you're going to put 3 minus y, and you're going to say 3 minus y all squared plus 4 into 3 minus y into y minus y equals to 15. So like I said, I don't want to write long equations, and like I don't want to take long on these questions. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to do it as fast as possible and try to avoid writing on a whole board as possible as I can. But because I know these simultaneous equations, they're always too long, and it's about 6 marks, so you need to make sure that you get it. Okay, so okay, then now let's simplify our equations. So since this one is 3 minus y all squared, it means it's this thing twice. Then 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. Then 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. And 9 multiplied by 2 is 18. Then I'm just going to write 18. Then 3 multiplied by negative y is going to be negative 3y, and negative y multiplied by that is going to be negative 3y, and negative 3y minus 3y is negative 6y. Negative 6y multiplied by 2 is negative 12y. Then I'm going to have negative 12y. Hey, mathematics is interesting, guys. Just do those things in your head and you'll enjoy and you'll feel the connection. Okay, then negative y multiplied by negative y, it's y squared, and y squared multiplied by 2 is 2y squared is a plus 2y squared. Okay, then here you can just say 3 multiplied by y is 3y multiplied by 4. You can just say plus 12y. Then negative y multiplied by y is negative y squared multiplied by 4 is negative 4y squared minus y equals to 15. Okay, so now here I'm going to add the like terms, then and also rearrange this equation nicely at the same time. So that's, like I said, I don't want to write this thing on a whole board because I don't have enough space. Okay, then you can see we have negative 12y and we have 12y. This one can cancel this, and we have a 2y squared and minus 4y squared, which means our answer will end up being, negative 2. It will end up being negative 2y squared. Then negative 2y squared, since our coefficient with the highest degree shouldn't be negative, we're going to divide it by negative 1. Therefore, we're going to say negative 2y squared divided by negative 1. We're going to have 2y squared. Okay, so from now on, since we divided the term with the highest degree with a negative, it means all the terms here will be divided with negative after adding them. So okay, then we have negative 18. So we have 18, and 18 is the only, I think it's the only constant on the left hand side. So then we're going to say 18, we're going to say 18 divided by negative 1 is going to be negative 18. So I'm writing it here, negative 18. The reason why I'm writing it here is because I have the other term with the y value which I want to put there. Like I said, I just want to simplify it and also rearrange it at the same time. Then I have a negative y. Like I said, since I divided the term with the highest degree, then we had the highest degree by negative 1. It means all the terms here will be divided by negative 1. Then I'm going to say, well, negative y divided by negative 1, I'm going to have plus y, then is equals to, then I also have to divide this one by negative 1. It's going to be negative 15. Okay, let's do this. Okay, then we're going to have 2y squared plus y, then negative 18 plus negative 18 plus 15 is going to be minus 3. Oh yeah. Okay, guys, mathematics is interesting. You need to enjoy doing this. Okay, guys, let's factorize this. I don't know what's happening with my markers, but yeah, they're giving me a problem. Okay, so guys, let's factorize this. So in order to factorize this one you can factorize it, but they're like saying you're gonna find the factors yourself. Sometimes, guys, it might be difficult for you. So, well, like when you get something like this one, which you can't really get the factors using your head faster, then you can just use a quadratic formula. But yeah, the terms, then you can just use the quadratic formula. I don't know if you all know how to, but I did show you guys how to use quadratic formula. Therefore, now but for me now, since I know how to factorize it, I'll just factorize it. So okay, I'm going to have 2y. I'm going to have 2y, then close the bracket and open the bracket and have y and it will close. Like I told you earlier, guys, when you have something like when you have a y squared, so it means you're going to have the 2 close and open bracket. Then yeah, then now if I'm going to look for the terms of a 3 that will give me 1 when I add them or when I minus them, then you'll realize they are no factors of 3 which when you add them or subtract them they will give you 1. So therefore that's why I say sometimes it might be difficult for you to factorize this one. Then you just have to use a quadratic formula. but yeah, I can factorize this. Then but I can factorize this one. So since I have 2y and I have and I have y and I have and I have y in my other brackets, and 2y minus y is going to give me 2y squared. But I need to make sure that my middle term is going to be equals to y. And what I know is that I don't have any factors of 3, which when I add them or minus them, they will give me 1. Because the factors of 3 is 3 and 1 only. And 3 plus 1 is 3, 3 and 3 minus 1 is 2. So okay. But then I realized that I have 2y on the other bracket, and I can and if I say 2y, and if I say 2y minus 1, if I say 2y minus y, it's going to give me y. Okay, therefore then and I know 1 multiplied by 3 is going to give me 3. But if I say 2y multiplied by 3 is going to give me 6y. Therefore it means that 3, I don't know if you let me try to repeat what I'm saying here. So like, it's okay, like I told you guys, like it's difficult to factorize this. It might be difficult. It might be difficult for you guys to factorize this using your head. You can just use quadratic formula. But yeah, if you wanna factorize it with your head, yeah, you can just start by writing 2y and y. Since it's squared, you're going to write it, or you can just start by writing it, because this one is easy to see, okay, or detect. Then okay, you're going to have 2y. Then you open and close the bracket, and you have a y, and you open and close the bracket. Okay, then now you know that there are no factors of 3, which when you add them or when you subtract them, they're going to give you y. Therefore, but since you have 2y here, you know that if you minus y, if you know that if you minus y, you're going to have this y, right? You're going to have this y, right? Then you know that when you multiply 3 by 2, it's going to give you 6y. Therefore, it means obviously that your 3 won't be in this bracket, but it has to be in this bracket. Okay, but then after putting this 3, you realize that 2 minus y, that 2 minus y idea is no longer working. But you don't clear up everything that you have. You still have this one. Then you can think about the number, which when you multiply it by 3, it's going to give you negative 3, and which is going to make 2y, which is going to make 2y, which is going to make 2, which is going to make sure that when you say 3y minus 2y, it's going to give you y. Okay, then it means that since already you have 2, since you already have 2y here, and you have 3, and you can see that our middle term is positive, and we need to have a positive y value. Okay, and you know that 2y multiplied by y is going to give you 2y squared. So that in order to have positive y here, we need to make sure that 2y is going to be negative. Then it means here you're gonna have -1, and also you can see that our last term is negative. Then this -1, it passes the test. Then you can just put positive here. Since this one is negative, it means they must have the opposite signs. Not sides. Okay, then equals to 0. Therefore, your y is equals to -3 over 2, or y is equals to 1. This was so long. Okay, then now you can just take your y values and substitute them in. You can take your y values and substitute them in equation 3 in order to get the corresponding in order to get the corresponding x values. Then you can just say x equals to, or you can just write a statement and say sub y into or 3. It's just I don't love writing statements. Actually, if you can think about it, mathematicians are lazy, so I don't know. I just don't love writing statement. Then x is equals to 3 minus into 3 over 2. Okay. Then you can just press your calculator, or you can just do this one in your head. Actually, you need to get used to solving numbers using your head so that you can be able to solve faster and finish all your questions during the exam. Okay, it's going to be 9 over 2. Okay, then now you're going to substitute 1. You say x is equals to, I don't know what's on the floor, x is equals to 3 minus 1 is equals to 2. Okay, then now you have your x and your y values, and you're done with your simultaneous equation. Okay, it's like